32 minutes past 6, and it's time for us to break bread. And today we just going to read from the book of John chapter 5. We are live on Facebook, by the way. You can watch us live. You can watch this devotion. You can share also. John chapter 5, I'm going to read from verse 1 to 14. John chapter 5, verse 1 to 14. This is the healing at the pool. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem near the Sheep Gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here, a great number of disabled people used to lie. The blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." And once the man was cured, he picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath, and so the Jewish leader said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." But he replied, "The man who made me well said to me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" So they asked him, "Who is this fellow who told you to pick it up and walk?" The man who was healed had no idea who it was, for Jesus had slipped away onto the crowd that was there. Later, Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, "See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." The man went away and told the Jewish leader that it was Jesus who had made him well. Quite an interesting character, this man here. You look at commentaries around this man. There are those who say, "Huyu jamaa nisumbua." No, Jesus asks him, "Do you want to get well?" But look at this man for 38 years as an invalid. All he sees is people walking. He sees people getting to the waters ahead of him. He even says, "Well, I'm trying to get in. Someone else goes down ahead of me." The first question Jesus asked was, "Do you want to get well?" Looking at the time he has suffered and what he has gone through, if it were me, my first answer will be, "Yes, I want to get well." Or, "Why are you even asking?" That's what I want. I want to get well. But I think some situations have, made us, yes, we want to get out of those situations, but it feels like they are also, part of us. They have made us we whine a lot about those situations. Today in the morning, I met a mama as I was leaving the gym, and alikuwa anataka unga. Shida si unga, before afike kwa unga, there was a lot of which I found very unnecessary. Tukiingia hapo tu supa, nikaambia chukua unga. I felt like na kesho maybe tutapatana. Ni story, ni situation nako. A true story, by the way, lakini that situation yenye yako, hata ukimwambia nikufanyie jambo kesho usiombe unga, anaweza anza kushangaa kunaenda aje. And I feel like this man was there for 38 years. I won't blame him because, there's nothing else he knows. Looking at 38, unashangaa alikuwa mgonjwa wa miaka gani. But even for 38 years, you can imagine that's a lot of time. And so he says, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me. Somebody will say this is, analalamika. Badala ya kujibu yes or no. Again, we don't know the journey of this man. None of us has been in this place for 38 years. But look at what Jesus says. Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." Jesus saw the need of making this man well. We've talked about his compassionate nature. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Jesus initiated this conversation. Yeah? And today I feel like there's some of us who have been in this place. All we know is trouble. All we know is lack. All we know is even sickness. All we know is the hate that has been coming our way. You know, like hata mtu akikuambia sasa unashamwangalia na ile macho ya unaniambia wewe nini. You know, those situations have dictated how we live and how we interact and how we answer. You see, even this man, after being healed and pick up your mat and go and walk, he's being asked who made you well, because it was a Sabbath. Even after Jesus meets him again and tells him, see, you are well again. And the word of God says, stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. And this is a disclaimer, or rather a warning that I also want to share with us. This is where we don't get when we share this story. Clearly, this man was a man who sinned, just like you and I. But Jesus, even after healing him, warns him, see, you are well again. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. So the question I'm asking you today is, do you want to get well? I don't know how you will answer. I don't know how you will answer. If it's yes, or you will say, kumekuwa hivi, or you have a long story like this man. And after you've answered this, Jesus is so compassionate that it is him who wants to do what he wants to do in your life. He knows where you've been and how long you've suffered. And today there's freedom coming your way. You're tuned in and you've been addicted for years to alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. Jesus is asking you today, do you want to get well? Will you have stories? Ama utajibu yes. And after all this is done, there's also a follow-up conversation Jesus is introducing you to today. Or rather, we're just sharing today. Now that you're well again, stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. Hata hivyo, the man still went back to the Jewish leaders and told him it was Jesus. So we can chambua this man another time. That Jesus is so concerned about the situation we've been in. It might be 1 year, it might be 2 years, it might be 1 month, it might be 10 years. It is asking you that question today. Yesterday, the question we are being asked is, do you believe? Today, we are being asked, do you want to get well? Do you want to get well? And I know most of the times ni sisi tunaenda kwa Mungu, kwa Yesu, namwambia, Lord, make me well, Lord, this. Today, he is introducing this conversation. Do you want to get well? Do you really want to get well? There is freedom in form of even the sickness, magonjwa kwa mwili yetu. Do you want to get well? You see that marriage that has been sick for a while, and you know what is happening in your house right now. Baba, do you want to get well? Mama, do you want to get well? Your heart has been so tough because of that joblessness situation. You are bitter, or rather, you all you see is people taking advantage of you. That situation, This man was an invalid for 38 years. How long have you been in that situation? Do you want to get well? We're going to look at what the characters of this man was. Was he grateful? Was he saved at the end of it all? Mine here is to tell you that Jesus is so concerned about that state you've been for so long. He's so concerned about that marriage you've been in. And, you can count years. You've still been praying for that fruit of the womb. Imeleta roho imekuwa ngumu. Inafanya unachukiwa. Inafanya unadharauliwa. Today he's asking, do you want to get well? Umekuwa kwa madeni for so long. That is your state. Hata wansha kupatia hilo jina. Do you want to get well? When this man was asked this question, all he saw is what people were doing, were not doing for him. How, forget about what people are doing, or not doing for you today. He that is asking you has the ability to tell you, stand up and walk. He has the ability to tell you today, get up, pick up your mat and walk. He has the ability to tell you, you know what, umeenda kwingi, ni pesa ya kuona specialist umekosa, ni pesa ya kuona daktari, a gyna umekosa. Today he has the ability to say, you know what, get up, pick up your mat and walk. The word of God says he opened wombs just by his word. He's able to do that. We've been looking at connections za Mankaris, connections za Anko, connections za Auntie for you to get a job. He who is asking you today, do you want to get well, has the ability to recommend you himself in a place through that application you're gonna send. Meangalia ni nini watu wakufanyia. You are very bitter with your family members. You have a rich brother or a rich and a sister, lakini hawakuji kukusaidia, and you hate. You know what? The one who is asking you today, do you want to get well, has the ability to come through for you without passing through your brothers or your sisters. Get out of that place of hate. Get out of that place of roho mbaya na chuki na ugumu. Muachie yeye. Every month unachelewa rent. Today is asking you, do you want to get well? You say, I live here by the mercies of my neighbors or my landlords or landladies. He who is asking you, do you want to get well, has the ability to do things to favor you, even minus the landlord and the landladies. He's asking you, do you want to get well? Unasema mimi ni pesa tu ya rehab nimekosa. Ni pesa tu ya rehab nimekosa. Ni pesa ya nini nimekosa. He who is asking you that, do you want to get well? Unajua Yesu hakuambia watu kujeni, shikeni huyu jamaa. Yeye shida yake ilikuwa tu every time I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me. Even Jesus himself will have picked him kama angetaka. Lakini Jesus offers more than what we are lacking or than what we feel like people are not bringing our way. Today, he that is asking you if you want to get well is able to break that addiction, is able to break that habit without even taking you through the system. Do you really want to get well? So if your answer is yes, receive that miracle. Receive that miracle. He is able to make you well.
Listen and live on 93.3